What's up? What's up? Happy Wednesday. I hope you're having a great start to your Wednesday today. We are going to get into a great conversation up on this morning here. We are talking all about style evolution, all right? And we are talking about it in the context of Michelle Obama's new book, The Look, okay, which is right here, okay? And I've got, because I am who I am, so I got some things tabbed and noted because I'm about to show y'all some pictures. We're gonna have story time, okay? Story time with Nana Badu about The Look with Michelle Obama. All right, so before we dip all up in the tea with the honey, let me just say a hello if it's the first time that you are joining and seeing this fresh face on your screen. My name is Nana Badu. I'm an image consultant, stylist, and speaker, and I talk about all things related to style, confidence, and authenticity for women at work. And so if you're here, pop up in the comments, say a hello. Would love to hear questions, comments. If you've got the book and you just dripping, okay, over the juices of goodness that are flowing in it, let me know. And if you haven't gotten the book, make sure you do, okay? It's a great table read. It's a great guide around style, and clearly it's a great reference in a master class about the importance of style and style evolution. So, off the top, what I want to talk about today is just some of the key things that I've noted from reading the book and having the great pleasure of even seeing Michelle Obama live in a conversation with Tracy Ellis Ross that they recorded for her IMO podcast. And it's just a great, real, candid, peel the curtain back, hear Michelle talk about all things around her wardrobe, fashion, hair, and what it meant to be the first Black First Lady um, in the U.S. and how much how much goes into that and how much she had to think about in getting ready for this kind of role, which wasn't something that she saw for herself and was like, yes, this is my aspiration in life, right? She didn't see this coming, but it did. And how much that adjusted her lifestyle and the way in which she interacted with style. So one of the biggest things that I say about style evolution, especially in respect to Michelle, and for you out there, okay, for you, because I definitely want to bring this into context about how it is relevant and relatable to you where you are in your career, all right? Because I say this all the time, as your career evolves, your style must evolve. And I mean, one of the biggest things that I noticed with Michelle is that she went from getting dressed in a reactionary place to having more intention, right? So things went from being reactionary to being more intentional. And I say this because she tells a story about how she was, she's a working mom, right? She's an attorney. She's got two young girls. She has a husband. And then her husband gets tapped to give the speech at the Democratic National Convention in, what was that, 2007, I think. So this moment comes along and she's doing a bunch of things in her day, right? Like, I got to pick up the birthday gift for Sasha to take to the birthday party this weekend. I've got to run a couple of errands, and oh shoot, what am I going to wear and what are the girls going to wear to the DNC convention? Sorry, just the DNC. So she goes to, I think it was Bloomingdale's, and she's just perusing aisles of Bloomingdale's, Like, I gotta find something that fits. I'm tall, I have a short torso, I have long arms. Shopping is already hard for me as it is, but I gotta find something that works for me, and I gotta get something for these girls, right? It's like Barack, he gonna be all right. He gonna put on the same suit that he's got in the closet. He's good. So she finally finds something that fits, okay? And I believe it was a sheath dress, and she's like, this is great, okay? This is gonna work. And then she finds some I think some pink dresses for the girls, right? And then she's like, cool, check, that's done. Let me go on. But as we know, that moment then started a snowball to Barack announcing that he was going to run for president. And then what happened? Another public moment where she's like, I have to be camera ready. And not just for me, but also the girls. So then it became another thing that she just had to do in the midst of her life of being an attorney, being a mom, right? And trying to take care of herself, okay? And be supportive to her husband. So this is what I mean when getting dressed is just reactionary. There's not a lot of thought into how do I want to feel, what feels really good on me, what kind of message do I want to send with this outfit. You're not thinking through any of that. It's simply, here is an action item on my long to-do list, and I just need to get it done. What fits, what is going to work, and that's easy, and that's it. And that might be the space of where you are right now, where you look at your style and you're just like Michelle in them early days. You're like, listen, I got things to do. And this isn't something that I have a lot of time to give energy and effort to. But as things shift in your career and you start to get more visible, your mindset around style and the impact that it has must also change. Because guess what? It's going to change for you, okay? Because people are going to be seeing you more and more. They're going to have plenty to say. But one thing that's also a takeaway is that you can control the narrative, okay? Because it's your life and it's your impression. And it's the message that you are sending. So you can get in the driver's seat around that and stop being reactionary and shift that to being more intentional. All right. And so as Michelle was realizing, like, hold on now, wait a minute, this my hubby over here. This is a lot of public appearances. We're campaigning. I'm on a flight and changing in one sheath dress and trying to make it work from Iowa to New York City. And now all of a sudden I'm realizing, like, I don't even have all the right clothes for this. Like, again, everything is just reactionary to what's being thrown at you. You're not in front of it. You're not ready. You're right. And so she had to get some help. Okay. She had to get some help. She had to pull in and call on she called on Maria Pinto, which is a designer who makes a lot of classic sheath dresses that are, your quintessential go-to if you are a professional woman, right? So sheath dresses in a variety of colors, and that became Michelle's go-to, especially when she was campaigning, and even in those in the very early years when Barack was first elected. So that classic sheath dress, right? Those classic cardigan sweaters, those classic nude pumps, right? And the tans, the beiges, right? The grays, the creams, like the blacks, the navies. I could go on and on, right? But those classic hues, right? And understanding that you're going to wear this sheath dress, you are 100% moving with those wardrobe choices from a place of, this is appropriate, right? This is appropriate. Absolutely. It fits well. It has a nice fit, and the quality is nice. and it is appropriate for the occasion. No one is going to question whether this is professional. This is literally the go-to outfit formula playbook for women in professionalism, right? So that was the direction that she headed in. I mean, and she was an attorney as well. So sheath dresses were all the rage, right? So at this time too, it's like, man, you're still in this space where you are following solely what you feel is appropriate for the environment and space that you're entering into. And listen here, this is there's nothing wrong with that. Let me stretch out that wrong, okay? To a point, especially depending on where you are in your career. And especially too, depending on what industries you are in. All right. If you are early on into your career, early on into an environment and space that you're not 100 clear on the landscape. All right. Michelle knows what it looks like to dress as an attorney and be professional in that space, and basically just translated that going into politics at first, right? And again, nothing wrong, but very straightforward and appropriate. And matter of fact, let me pull out this good book, because there was something that she quoted and said, and I said, well, ma'am, we gotta quote this. I got to read this straight up through the book because it was that good. And it talks directly to the fact of evolving from a space of feeling appropriate to start to dress with more intention. So she says that in the first term, I made a conscious effort to draw in between the lines of a style I thought the American people could tolerate, accessible and feminine. And so I wore lots of sheath dresses and pencil skirts paired with cardigans, pearls, and often a brooch, simply because that was a graceful and pretty look. While I still appreciated, did I lose my place? Hold on. Because there's a lot of pictures in here in between the text. A lot of fantastic pictures that y'all need to pick up. Oh, work with me, y'all. Hold on. I know, it was so good. Y'all was hanging on it. It's worth it. Okay, here we go. So she says, while I still appreciated a traditionally feminine silhouette, now I was ready to mix things up. And because Barack was in his second term, a fashion risk was no longer fodder for the reelection. I felt like I could start coloring outside of the lines. Let's wear some more suits. Let's be a little sexy. Let's cut bangs. Okay, listen. Yes, Portia, you did, girl. Come on, But this is we're getting the internal dialogue that Michelle is having within herself and with her team, right? And the people who support her. But understanding that, listen, y'all, Michelle, she's just like you and me, y'all. She's just like you and me. Okay. All right. She's a Black woman. She's professional. She was working at, she made her parents proud. She's working at a good job, has a wonderful family. And thinking about what to wear was a stress point and another thing on her list. And when she was showing up in this political arena, space that was new territory for her, she wanted to make sure that she was appropriate and that what she was wearing was palatable for people, that it was palatable, right? So she chose accessible and feminine silhouettes, and those sheath dresses and pencil skirts and cardigans. She wore things that people would say, yes, that is acceptable because that's what we're familiar with, and that checks all the boxes on what we feel is appropriate and feminine and professional and tastefully done for a first lady, right? Come on, let's get it, okay? So this happened the first term. You got a lot of that, and when she started to bring in her team and make the investment of having a stylist and a hair team, and makeup, right? You saw this at its very best, and you saw this begin to evolve with her intentionally investing in higher quality pieces, right? And starting to learn more about different designers and cuts and silhouettes that really flattered her shape, playing more with color, with texture, with print, right? You started to see more of this. And um, Michelle tells a really great story in the book about how, I think this was after Barack announced his candidacy, Oprah called and she said, I want to come to your home, just Oprah calling, talking about, I'm gonna come to your crib because I want to do a little interview with you and your husband because I think something revolutionary is about to happen. So, you in Target picking up, you picking up the toilet paper, the toothpaste. Someone's calling, well, Oprah called. What'd you say? Right? So she was like, what am I going to wear? So she just went into her closet and got this baby blue, this like pastel pink sweater and some white khakis. Not the finest moment, right? It's giving very basic. It's giving very basic. Okay. It is not giving Michelle. And let me tell you, I know Michelle 2008 because I know her personally. I do not, but I feel like I do. That she has the same poise, like savvy, intellect, like because that is who she is. And those early on style choices, you can see how those wardrobe choices were not reflecting that. You didn't get that. Okay. Yes, y'all. The strategic evolution, Ayana, talk about it. Yeah, she was absolutely testing the waters and then expanded to what works best for her, right? It's a whole entire masterclass. Like it's really, I mean, you see it when you look at images, but it's the book and the stories helps you connect and relate because you can find a point where you're like, that's me, or I was there, or I desire to be here. So understand that even for Michelle, let me not finish the Oprah story. Sorry, y'all. There's a lot. I hope you're following the breadcrumbs that are being dropped. The trail is trailing. But this moment with Oprah calling and saying I want to have the family on the cover for O Magazine, she was frantic about what to wear again. And when she was having the conversation with Oprah, she was sharing like, yes, like figuring out what to wear for all of this, all of these public appearances is now a thing. And I'm like trying to navigate that. And so what did little old Oprah do? First of all, there ain't nothing little about Oprah. But I should say Oprah did a little something. And she sent Michelle a gift. And she sent her 2 beautiful Ralph Lauren suits and a bunch of plush cashmere cardigan sweaters. And Michelle said that was her first interaction with like high-end luxury clothing. And when she took those suits out and those sweaters out, she was like, oh, I understand. She's like, I understand that this is a very different relationship with fashion and style when quality and taste and construction get elevated. Okay. So there was a different conversation that was starting to be had. And it don't hurt to have Oprah as a friend to help usher you in because she's like, I see you, sis. I got you. Like, let me send you some things to help you on your path. Okay. So I hope you're catching the nuggets. I hope you're catching the gems. Hey, Tisha. Okay. I hope you're catching it and finding a place of where it connects with you on your career, right? Find your person. Find that mentor. Find somebody who you look to and you're like, yo, your style is bad. It's wild. Like when you come out of, and I don't mean bad as in not good. I mean bad as in fire emojis. Like when you step into the room, I'm like, dang, she bad. She be crushing it. the confidence, the poise, the presence, all of it, right? Find your person, find that woman leader who you can go to for some guidance in these areas that can sometimes feel very vulnerable to talk about, to talk to somebody about what should I do with my hair in the workplace? Like, I'm thinking about wearing braids, but I don't know, right? Like, find your person. They might be at your job, they may be in your industry, they may not be. They might be a family, a friend, but find someone who is in a place in their career and the way that they show up that really inspires you and you connect with. Okay. Portia, fascinating, right? Portia says, can you imagine being a two-time Ivy League graduate from a C-suite job? And that was the first time she wore designer clothes. Yes. And I think of that stature, right? Because she said it's like she had gone to Bloomingdale's, but it was different. She's like, this is the first time where she was like, whoa, this feels different. And also too, like, some of y'all may relate, like being married, having kids, and being successful in your career, you still also, there's a priority scale. And for Michelle, her style was low on the pecking order, right? It was not something that was high at the top of her list. And even when she went into the White House, it still was something that she was like, okay, yeah, we need to figure that out. But again, it's her visibility. And as her intention in terms of how she wanted to impact change and have influence across the country in her role as First Lady. As she said, like, for her, First Lady was a verb, right? It wasn't a title, it was a verb. And so she's like, what am I going to do, right? How am I going to impact change? So, she had the Let's Move effort. She was doing things for families of veterans, like, Michelle is a doer. She's a connector. She's a people person, right? She cares. So to know that was now her job, because it's a job, okay? And she saw the process of her style and understanding that is also part of the job. But there's a layer to it that I know needs to still stretch and grow. And there's phases and levels to it. So it's fascinating because you might be in that space for yourself, right? Where you've got the degrees, you've gotten the titles, like you're in this space of leadership for yourself, but like, do you still have low budget taste? Did it get you? Do you still have low budget taste? All right. Your aesthetic and your understanding of fabric, of quality, of fit. When your career is evolving, your style must evolve, your taste must evolve. It must go up. Okay? It must raise. Okay? Because you can't, you're just not allowing yourself to fully blossom and bloom in all of the different ways. And for people to connect with you and for you to invite connection, because style can do that, can always invite connection and spark conversation. You're not pulling that in and allowing that to happen intentionally and organically, because you best believe every time that Michelle steps out, people are talking about what she is wearing. And she understood that. It took her a while to get, like, not even saying it took her a while, but there was a point at which she understood, oh, people are always going to be talking about what I'm wearing. And although that wasn't something that was like I wish they wouldn't, maybe internally she thought that too. But she said, okay, if they are going to be talking about this, let's also send some clear messages here. And one of the biggest messages that she started to send was, be comfortable in what you wear, and what you wear needs to reflect who you are, right? Like, that was really core of what she wanted to send in her messages. And that was especially for women, right? Like, she wanted you to feel and understand that you can bare your arms, okay? Like, you can wear a dress and have your arms out. You can wear different colors, right? Like there are things that you can wear at different sizes and body shapes, right? And of course, when she made the huge transition into having braids and coming back into the White House and just being in the public eye through her different book tours and wearing braids, you know, Black women everywhere were like, Michelle is in braids at the White House. Michelle is in braids at the White House. Did you hear it? Did you hear it? Right? Because it means so much to see yourself represented. It means so much because we put Michelle, rightfully so, on a pedestal of just like excellence, but like genuineness, right? Realness. Again, that relatability factor. And so to see her say, I am now at a space in the evolution of my style in understanding that I've done appropriate. I've dressed from a reactionary standpoint of just picking things based out of need and quite frankly even desperation because of time, lack of planning, right? And now that's shifting, and I'm going to be more intentional and more strategic about sending a very clear message for especially women, especially Black women, about what it means to be visible and how you can be visible and how you can still do it and let it be genuinely authentic to who you are, right? That's part of the message, okay? Not y'all still with your mouth open. Listen, you got you got high quality taste in education, but low quality taste in style and wardrobe. So I gotta say, it's such a real question. Oftentimes people can understand dressing for the job you want, but it's easy to forget dress for the job. It's easy to forget to dress for the job you have. You know, it's so true. And I think even beyond that, I'm like, yo, stop dressing for these jobs. Like, dress for you, dress for the identity of the woman that you see yourself becoming. Like, dress for what makes you feel good. Like, understand the space, understand the audience, right? That is 100% important. And at some point, especially as a woman in leadership and senior leadership, that baseline is just going to be there. You're going to know it's the black suit. You're going to understand it's a navy pencil skirt and a white blouse and a pump. You get that. You get that. We've seen it. But just like Michelle, at some point, there's a shift as you begin to have a different relationship and understanding of the impact of the image, what message you want to communicate, right? Your taste levels and your aesthetic rising and elevating, and you saying, I want to do something a little different. I want to try something, right? Because you're no longer just being guided solely by the opinions of other people. Boop, 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 boop. You know? Yeah, absolutely. You know, some of this stuff, Michelle talks about like Jackie Kennedy, um, more Portia, to your point about Michelle having her arms out when she, in so many moments, the portraits, and just being out. It's hot. I'm wearing a sheath dress. My arms are out. What's the big deal? Jackie Kennedy did it. But as a Black woman, first Black family in the White House, first Black president, first Black lady, everything comes under more scrutiny. Everything begins, the lens, it changes. And the same is happening for you in your job. The same is happening as you walk into the workplace and you're like, I'm an attorney, I work in finance, this is a very formal environment. I don't want to be the one sticking out and give them another reason to ask me a question. They can barely get the pronunciation of my name right. Okay? Do you feel seen? Right? Like this is your reality, and it's understandable, right? It's 100% understandable. But again, with visibility and that being a requirement for your career evolution, you must be visible. You can't just be at your desk doing all the work. Like, you don't want the badge of honor for being the hardest working employee. That is the quickest way to health issues. So that's not really what you're after, right? What you're after is being a thought leader, maybe more more money, more benefits. If you are, get it, okay, as you should, right? But you want more reach, you want more impact, right? Like, you just know there's more for you. So that's a director position, maybe you want to be on a board, maybe you've got eyes on the C-suite. Whatever it is for you, that vision is yours. That's yours to be had, right? But if you continue to paint this vision for yourself, and then when it's time to show up in it, you're like, well, I'm going to pull out the playbook that Bob has, and I'm going to use that playbook to get to my dreams. It doesn't even sound right. Okay? Like, that's not the playbook, you know? So get the look, because that's a new playbook for you. All right? Like, you need to be tuning into your inner voice for what you desire. And that is going to require you to say, I need to make a serious point of assessing where I am with my image. Okay? And understand very clearly, like Michelle, that is what I always talk about: the CAV, your clothing, your accessories, and your beauty, right? All three of those spaces, Now, you might not have all the resources that are afforded to a first lady, but still, that's not an excuse to say, oh, I just don't have it. Yes, you do. You spend money on what you want to spend money on. Okay. You prioritize what's important. All right. And when you think about your image in its totality, it's your clothes, it is your shoes, it's your jewelry, and it's your beauty, it's your hair, your makeup, your skin routine, your nails. It's all of these things together cohesively. You want to be very clear on the kind of message that you want to send with your wardrobe. All right. Because evolving from classic appropriateness into sophisticated, multi-hyphenate, savvy, there's a stretch, there's a difference. There's a difference. There's a difference from that woman that steps into the room and everyone goes, and the other woman that steps into the room and everyone is like, what was your name? We'd love to hear your perspective, right? You're visible. Let me get up in these comments. The chat is chatting. The chat is chatting. Okay. Oh, Tisha, she said lack of planning was always your issue. It's important to be intentional about style and the message you want to convey. Let me show this to y'all. Message you want to convey. Gone are the days of grabbing an outfit the morning of and flying out the door. Yes, 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 yes. Like, planning and creating a wardrobe, and of course, where available, hiring people to help you will set you up for success. Like, Michelle went through the line. She had to get the local boutique owner, right? Like, she went to two local boutique owners to get some help. Ikram and Maria Pinto, local in Chicago. One person was, I think it was Maria, or maybe it was Ikram, did makeup and happened to live in her neighborhood. So she walked down the street and was like, can you do my makeup? And the person did the makeup for her, right? Like, just trying to figure it out. And then at some point, right, it was like, oh no, this is really serious. I gotta get in front of this. And then it was her decision about bringing in the team and who's who. Of course, they give you recommendation, but she's like, all right, I need a stylist. I need somebody who's going to understand my hair, because what I'm not going to do is lose my hair off of stress of being in the White House for 8 years. Okay. I'm gonna maintain that and be intact. But I know I need that. I know somebody needs to understand my skin, my beauty, like all of these things. So get your people. Who's doing your hair? Who's the person that you can go to when you have a beat for a photo shoot or speaking engagement? Like, who's helping you with your wardrobe so that you set and got clothes on already, like Tisha got? Okay. Um, Talk about it, Yana. Walking into a corporate space and everyone looks the same. And then you see that one unicorn person who has style. It's so refreshing. It is. But also, why does no one have individuality and style? It's often my question. I think people are so afraid. I think people are so afraid of doing something different and standing out. People think that that is going to be the demise of their career, when in fact, it is quite the opposite. It's quite the opposite. When you are clear about what your style is, what feels good on you, what you love, and you start to move from there, and you're very clear on like, how do I want to feel when I'm in this space? How do I want other people to react to me? When I'm not in the room, what do I want people to say about me? What's most important for me when I'm getting dressed? Like, when you're working with someone who's going to put you first and understands how to respond to those kinds of questions, and how knows how to procure clothing and accessories to set up your wardrobe so that you have all of that intact, that's when you can show up into these spaces and feel like, oh, I don't look like everyone else because I'm not like everybody else. No food for thought. Oh my God. Talk about it. Having come from the consulting industry, that Patagonia vest, I mean, the khaki pants, the collared shirt, it is just a straight uniform all the way. Okay. And it's just a sea of the same. Like, people are going to talk about what you are wearing. They're going to talk about what you look like. They're going to talk about it. But another important thing that Michelle shared in the book is that over time she learned not to take things personally. People said so much about this woman, right? Simply for who she is. Her smile, her arms, her hair, like everything, a fist bump, like so much negativity. And she had to tune it out and was like, I can't take this personally. These people don't even know me, right? But they will. And so I'm going to intentionally begin to show up and send messages so that people see someone who's warm, inviting, like loves kids, is here for women, who's smart, who's sharp. And we saw all of that through her wardrobe choices. Okay, because she was very conscious of putting on garments that Meredith Coop, who's her incredible stylist, would choose for her. And she would do something called the O test. And she would do this in the garment to make sure that she could give people hugs. She that kind of person, like wearing white was something she was like, I don't want to do any of that. I'm going to be hugging so many people. There's too much room for a stain or a spill or something like that. So I'm going to stay away from white. These kinds of choices. But to be able to be working with someone who you can share those things with, and they're going to say, I got you. I hear you. Here are options that are going to be functional. They're going to be fashionable, but they're also going to be you, right? They're going to be you. You're going to step into them and your confidence levels will soar, right? And that's ultimately to what you see across the evolution of Michelle's style, is that her confidence shifted, baby. You can see that from the sheath dress era to, oh, let me get this Tom Brown fit and flare jacket dress for inauguration number 2, right? Like Balenciaga boots for my book tour, right? Like, you can just see that she was willing to take more risks and have more fun with fashion, right? And be like, oh, this is fun and this makes me feel good and this feels like me. And like, yes, I love braids. They're functional, they're easy, like they're versatile. Braids all day. It's a protective style too, okay? And keep my edges intact, keep my hair growing. Like, these are all the things, but it can happen. It can be done, right? You want to figure out what it looks like for you. All right. You might not be showing up to Balenciaga boots at the law firm. We understand that. But what is it for you? What is it for you that feels more genuinely like yourself? Is it the gray suit that you're currently wearing? I don't know. Probably not. Okay. Hey Trish, yes, invest in yourself. Listen, Portia and Yana, y'all were always look interested. We got the whole fashion girl situation happening in the comments because I know y'all was showing up strong in the workplace with these fashions, serving up some looks. Okay. Yes, Ayana, absolutely. Work, coming into the workplace with your own style, bright colors, the hoop earrings, right? Like this is the thing. Like when you feel good about who you are and how you're showing up in the space, people do feel it. It is something, and a lot of times, low-key, people are a little envious because they're like, how are you doing that? How are you doing that? Where you're like it's a suit, but like, yo, you got a red blazer on? Like, that's cute. I like that. Oh, not this animal print blouse under here. That's a vibe. People wish they could do it, but they are so trapped by the fear of people saying, oh, that's not appropriate. When you need to take a page out of Michelle's playbook and not take it personally. All right? Not take it personally when you choose to start doing something that's out of the typical corporate uniform, because you're like, that's no longer connecting with me. And I'm entering in spaces where I need to be intentionally visible. And this dusty beige suit ain't gonna cut it. Okay. Oh, I love it. Yes. Thank you, Tisha. Always appreciate you. It was so great working with you. You look, Tisha took notes, took action, and now she's taking them looks. Okay. I love it. She said in the Bay Area, everyone dresses the same. I sit out with color and style, right? Like, that's a strategic decision, And Trish, look, we got the whole personal brand building crew up in the building, right? And Trish talks all about building your personal brand and standing out in that way and using style as a tool to do that. Look, chef's kiss, okay? Yeah, those Balenciaga boots took people. Oh, the boots from the inauguration. Yes, yes. Listen, super, super important. Michelle talks about y'all, this one is tough to have a 30-minute conversation because I got the book, I got tabs and stuff. Okay, I'm gonna show you all these two pictures and I'm gonna try to wrap it up. Okay, so this is Michelle at the first inauguration. Right? Beautiful color, matte lime, the hair. She's got that side swoop happening. The small pearl earrings. Okay. And this dress was by Isabel Toledo. It's got some kind of sequins details. She's got pantyhose on. Pantyhose. She has since burned all her pantyhose. Okay. Here is the second. Bada boom pop pop. Bada baby baby. Okay. This is Tom Brown. All right. The gloves, the belt pop, then boots. So one of the biggest things she talks about, yes, Portia, absolutely. The first inauguration was freezing. And Michelle talked about how she was cold. She was cold. So second time around, when she was working with her stylist Meredith, she was like, I will not be cold. I need to be warm. I need something that is going to keep me warm. I need better gloves. I need to wear boots. And she was like, I would love something that's like a coat, dress, fit and flare. She had a vision. And she shared with her stylist, and they worked with Tom Brown, and they worked it all the way out. And she was like, I was toasty as an oven in that look. Okay. So bottom line, like those pictures in and of itself show the evolution of someone who thought, I need to wear pantyhose, right? I need to wear something that is, again, she to her own point, accessible and feminine, right? And the color choice and the cut, and it must have some delicate adornments to it, right? To going from that to saying, I'm going to go with more sophistication, super clean lines, sharp, distinct accessories and color pops. And I'm going to get these people these bags, right? Like the purple gloves, like it's all of it. Even the boots, the design of the boots, the warmth of it's like a suede and leather combination. Taking more risks, but functionally still serves the purpose of staying warm. And then looks amazing, and she's super comfortable in it, and she owns it. You can see it in her posture. You can see it in her ability to just connect with people and move and do her job. But she's only able to do that job because she is dressing with intention and clarity and a lot more knowledge. And she also has a team to support her to make sure she is ready. So, friends and friends and friends, if you're listening to this conversation, you're like, man, oh man, this is me. You're like, all the sheath dresses, this is currently my entire wardrobe, okay? But you're like, I'm not feeling that anymore. I'm not feeling connected to that space. This is your invitation, all right? This is your invitation to understand that style evolution is non-negotiable in your career. Like, it's just not, okay? So we want to get you out of being reactionary. We're going to get you out of being frazzled. We want to get you out of just doing things from a check the list, check off the action item perspective, and actually being intentional and strategic with your wardrobe and feeling prepared and feeling confident and having choices that you know are going to have you be at your best. And that if the people going to be talking, give them something to talk about, okay? Give them something to talk about in the highest, most favorable way. To be like, she a baddie. Yes, absolutely. We totally see why you're wearing that, okay? It aligns completely with who you are, right? Yes, like feeling comfortable, it's so important. Her energy, her confidence, the shift, you see it. So if this is you and you are in this space where you know you need this kind of shift for yourself, right? You know that you're making some changes in your career, within your industry, accelerating within your company, starting your own. Let me tell you right now, this is your invitation, all right? I take my clients who are literally in need of a style evolution through my signature program, the Style Elevation Experience. And it is a 3-month experience to take you from the drab corporate uniform that you currently have to embracing a more genuine representation of who you are through your style and being very intentional about it and adding pieces to your wardrobe that are going to keep you prepared, have you extremely comfortable, and amplify your confidence in the best possible way. And it's built for the women who are leaders, who understand that the scope is changing, the rooms they're entering are shifting, that I can't keep showing up in this outdated version of myself. It just doesn't even feel good anymore. So if that is you, pop in, send me a DM. Definitely let me know what you enjoyed about this conversation. But if you are in need of some support and you know style evolution is in your future, I am accepting new clients for 2026 and we will get started in January. But pop into my DMs and just DM me the word Michelle. Okay? Just DM me the word Michelle. And I will take it from there and share with you some next steps around how we can have a conversation and I can learn more about you and the ways in which your career is evolving and how your style is dragging behind. Okay? All right, y'all. Thank you so much, Portia, Yana, Trish, Tisha, for coming in and flurrying the people with this good chat. Okay. I so appreciate y'all. And I will not be in the building next Wednesday. I will be enjoying my life with, as my good friend Portia says, with some family and relaxing and hopefully having a lovely cocktail. Okay. So I hope you all have a great week next week. And I will holler at y'all in December, the last month of the year. Holy smokes. All right. All right. I'll get at y'all later. Peace.